It was 1959, and Pearl Mac had just finalized plans to build a new subdivision about 10 miles north of Denver. 15,000 visitors arrived to view the first five show homes located off the northeast corner of what is currently known as 104th and I-25. With plans to build a new shopping mall and retail areas, parks and recreation, and schools, the future of this community breathed new life into what people envisioned to be the future of the American dream. Today, Northglenn provides homes to around 40,000 residents. 60% of those residents are white, 33% Latino, with a median household income of around $54,000. Westview Elementary literally rests in the heart of Northglenn. With a school demographic of 45% Hispanic and 43% white, and under the supervision and guidance of an almost all-female faculty, Westview Elementary is aware of the whole child movement and is making strides to educate their community of children in this way. Working in the classrooms of the Westview community for the past 2 years, I'm not completely satisfied with what I've observed regarding its accommodation to the rich cultural demographic within Westview. I interviewed the principal to understand her thoughts on potential funds of knowledge.
Care about them, if we want to know about them and what's going on with them. It matters what they bring so that we can have a deeper understanding and make them, because everybody has their own unique story. So we want to make everyone feel that their story is really important. And so I think that you have to, with our Spanish speaking teachers, having that understanding and having that in school to know that we're going to build relationships with kiddos so um, that they feel safe and that we do have an understanding, because there are backgrounds and different things that we have to understand about students so that we can reach them in the best way possible. I think, that's kind of where I lead from, caring about kids and making sure that, you are doing this or you're having this experience. Can you tell me a little, can I dig and ask questions a little bit to know what you're thinking or how you're feeling?
Because Leslie was unfamiliar with the term funds of knowledge, but did sound familiar with how they are currently and how she might in the future accommodate the language and culture of others into the classroom, I felt the Westview community would greatly benefit from a very basic example of how funds of knowledge could be identified through a community mapping project. I started with the parks. As promised by the Northglenn Project in 1959, Westview is surrounded by big parks and recreational areas and is known for its paths in every direction, kind of making it a mini mecca for exercise enthusiasts and families. In the wee hours of the morning, children and their families passed through these parks on their way to school, and I wondered what sort of messages they may be passing that I could incorporate into literacy and comprehension. While walking the trails the families do in the morning, I found messages everywhere along these paths, ranging from park rules and regulations to park and wildlife information. I found some of these messages could be taken in the wrong way, and that children would benefit from a meaning-making project where every student gets a camera and takes pictures of messages they want to know about or that they don't understand. We could in the end attempt to answer why adults find them important enough to post for everyone to see, while placing emphasis on why certain words are important to understand. Although I do feel it's important that a child first understands the meaning of a word before they learn what it looks like, this approach may potentially serve the same purpose. I'm not sure if there was a graffiti movement in Northglenn, but if there was, the people that live in this community didn't put up with it. It seems that people of Northglenn definitely take great care of their parks and streets, as there isn't very much litter to be found in and around the neighborhood. I shifted my focus. Although this suburban community appears to only consist of houses in the $200,000 and $300,000 range, there are a few apartment complexes that feed Westview's diverse student population. In contrast to the potentially permanent homebuyers in this community, the apartment community introduces an element of non-permanence that is evident in the classrooms at Westview, making Westview only a stop along the way for many students and their families. This appears to be another opportunity to instruct on comprehension, as the power of words during a moment of loss can change the way a child perceives loss. But still not quite what I'm looking for. I searched the commercial and retail areas. I find more signs, but only messages that address the general population. In other words, not coming from a specific group attempting to express themselves in the way that they do. There is a small cannabis movement that doesn't seem to be growing any larger than the corner of this marketplace, but it does seem to be attracting people from within this community. Besides undermining these movements, like the movement Addictions Don't Harm People movement, by incorporating a social justice project focused on how smoking affects the body, and what we could create as the impressionable culture and the future of this neighborhood to remind people that they are harming themselves. I could also use this to infuse awareness regarding words like awareness, or freedom, or perception, or cannabis. Still not quite what I'm looking for. I searched the local newspaper archives and found articles inspired by Chicano and Latino culture, but the articles were focused on areas outside of Northglenn. One particular article spoke to me because I felt that if I could get students to connect with the Chicano movements happening in Denver, and a couple students recognize the presence of these images and words within the context of their home lives, it might serve to open doors with family members who could bring greater awareness to myself of the Chicano presence within Northglenn. But to be completely honest, besides during school, there doesn't seem to be much of a Latino presence in the community, or I'm just not recognizing it. I don't feel I failed in my search, as I was able to identify a wealth of information regarding different problem-based learning approaches to enhance literacy and comprehension. But I do feel that because Northglenn is so young, people are still developing a feel for a developing culture.